You are listening to ProveText, a Glossa House podcast exploring Scripture with Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb and Dr. Frederick J. Long. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to ProveText. I am Michael Halcomb, and in this episode of Three Things, I want to share with you three things that I'm thinking about. The first one of these is ecclesiastically related. It's called Fresh Expressions. And Fresh Expressions is a movement that was, I think, birthed out of the United Kingdom, but has made its way around the world and is growing in popularity and reach in the United States. You can check out their website at freshexpressions.com. The idea is to re-envision, revitalize, remission the church. So within within the Fresh Expressions movement, you'll see things like new forms of church, new types of church plants, churches being started in barbershops, churches being started at dog parks, and all kinds of different things. They're really well known for the dinner church concept. They have the Center for Remissioning, all sorts of books and resources, and a podcast that you can check out, freshexpressions.com. Pretty helpful website, and I would encourage any of you in pastoral leadership or church leadership to check out this website. It gives you great ideas for making disciples and reaching people where you are, where you may be. So yeah, check out Fresh Expressions, especially the dinner church concept. Another thing that I've been thinking about, this was announced, I think back in October, or around October of 2022, was this find of what's been called the Hezekiah inscription. Now, the actual inscription was found about a decade ago, but the, translation of it and linking it to some new research has caused quite a stir. And as you can see at ynetnews.com, the inscription was discovered at Jerusalem City of David National Park, and several archaeologists have sort of been revisiting this. And now they're suggesting that the biblical king Hezekiah, his name, is found partially written into this inscription, which is unusual because biblical kings, at least the long-standing thought has been that biblical kings didn't do that sort of thing, engrave their name into stone and whatnot. You can also read more about this at biblicalarchaeology.org. There's a lot of data on it there. So they're asking questions. They sort of talk about the history of this and its relation to the Halcomb inscription. So that's another thing that I've been thinking about, and it's kind of exciting in the world of biblical archaeology. So check that out. The third thing that I'm thinking about is the CPT, the Center for Pastor Theologians. And you've heard me talk about this on the podcast before, even perhaps with other guests. You can visit this website at pastortheologians.com. There's a podcast that goes along with this, a blog. The idea of the CPT is to form pastors and pastors that transform the church. They have a conference coming up in 2023 called Power in the Pulpit, Recovering a Theology of Preaching, which proves to be pretty interesting, which I think should prove to be pretty interesting, rather. I'll be presenting in their February, so you can see here on the website that there are different fellowships, and I'm part of the 6th fellowship. I'll be presenting at our annual gathering of the 6th fellowship in February. I'll be talking about things like what is God's will and healing, and whether we've gotten some of that correct or wrong. Really, I'm focusing on the question, is it always God's will to heal? I think for that paper, there might be some interesting conclusions. I think there are some interesting conclusions, and perhaps in a future episode of the podcast, I'll share this, but I want to point you now just once again to the CPT and check out their conference, their resources, their podcasts, their fellowships. If you're a pastor with a terminal degree, a PhD, or something equivalent, you might be interested in applying for the Center for Pastor Theologians. Well, that's all I have right now. That's all I'm thinking about. I hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.